Let's jump right in. Welcome to This Explainer, where we're going to take something you probably do all the time, something that's maybe even a little embarrassing, and completely reframe it into what it actually is, a massive psychological advantage. We're talking about the architectural power of your inner voice. That habit of talking to yourself, it's not just some quirky eccentricity. It's actually a deeply sophisticated cognitive tool that helps with emotional regulation, cognitive clarity, performance, social rehearsal, and even self-compassion.
So picture this. You're caught mid-conversation with yourself. We've all been there, right? Someone walks in and instantly cue that incredibly uncomfortable feeling. You kind of laugh it off, maybe you reflexively say, "Oh, sorry, I promise I'm not going crazy." But wait a second, why do we do that? For centuries, talking to yourself has been written off as this weird quirk or a warning sign. But the research actually tells a vastly different, much more sophisticated story. The real question we need to ask is, why are we constantly apologizing for one of the most ancient and powerful cognitive tools the human brain has ever come up with?
Well, let's start by looking at the sheer absolute chaos of your subconscious mind. The human brain is a total powerhouse. Every single second, your subconscious is processing roughly 11 million bits of information. 11 million. Most of that is running completely beneath the surface. It's silent, it's invisible, and honestly, if we felt all of it, it would be entirely crushing. Now, contrast that 11 million with what we actually handle consciously. 50. Just 50 bits of information per second. It's a wild difference. Imagine your mind is this hyper-congested city. You've got millions of signals firing simultaneously. Traffic intersecting from literally every direction. Noise everywhere. And your conscious mind? It's just trying to navigate this relentless, non-stop overflow of raw data without crashing. So, how do we manage all that traffic? That brings us to part one, building the control tower. See, when that mental traffic gets way too loud, your brain has to step in and direct the flow. And it does this through a brilliant psychological process called externalization. Basically, externalization is the architectural act of taking a thought, which is normally formless, chaotic, just bouncing around in your head, and giving it actual physical structure, sequence, and sound. So when you speak your thoughts out loud, even if it's just a tiny whisper to yourself, you're not being irrational at all. You're actually being architectural. You are literally building a framework to process your own thinking in real time. Which naturally leads us right into part two, engineering emotion and clarity. Let's look at emotional regulation first. Psychologist Ethan Kross made this really striking discovery. He found that if you ask yourself, say, "Sarah, why are you feeling this way?" instead of "Why am I feeling this way?" you create this vital psychological distance. He calls it distanced self-talk. It's almost like stepping back and becoming your own therapist, you know? You become the calm observer in the room. By just using your own name, your mind actually responds way less defensively and sees things much more clearly. It's a complete game changer. And beyond emotion, it gives us massive cognitive clarity. Think about it. When a thought is just sitting inside your head, it exists in a state of permanent ambiguity. But a fascinating 2012 study proved that literally saying the name of an object out loud significantly improved a person's ability to find it. Because language isn't just descriptive, it is highly organizational. Speaking forces your thoughts into grammar. It forces them into a sequence with a definitive beginning and an end. By pushing those abstract concepts through the physical act of articulation, you actually reveal to yourself what you truly think, sometimes for the very first time. Now, let's take that clarity and put it into action with part three, rehearsing for reality. So another huge mechanism here is performance enhancement. Elite athletes have been doing this intuitively for decades, and sports psychologists are totally backing it up now. It's known as instructional self-talk. Narrating your own actions as you perform them directly improves your physical precision and speeds up your decision-making. We see this in competitive tennis players, surgical trainees, concert musicians, you name it. The absolute best coach you have is your own voice, right? It's perfectly calibrated to you, and it knows exactly what you need to hear, exactly when you need to hear it. And that spills over into social rehearsal too. Before a really difficult conversation or maybe a tough job interview, high performers do this quiet little ritual they rarely ever admit to. They rehearse out loud alone. And no, that's not just performance anxiety. It's actually cognitive simulation. Your brain is modeling future social scenarios with incredible detail. Research confirms that verbally rehearsing those anticipated interactions drops your anxiety, improves your responses, and definitely boosts your confidence. Why? Because hearing the sound of your own voice makes your mind feel like it has literally already been to that room. Moving on to a crucial piece of the puzzle. Part 4. The voice of compassion. This brings us to some incredible research by psychologist Kristen Neff on self-compassion. The actual tone of that internal voice, it has a profound effect on your long-term mental health, your motivation, and your resilience. Her findings show that people who speak to themselves with the exact same warmth and gentleness they'd give a trusted friend have way lower rates of anxiety. They also bounce back much faster after a failure. Your self-talk is not just a tool. It's basically the ongoing autobiography of your inner life. Whether that voice is harsh and dismissive or gentle and curious, it is actively shaping exactly who you're becoming. Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, Your Mind in Motion. If you look at the world's most productive minds, the greatest philosophers, scientists, athletes, artists, they have always maintained a continuous conversation with themselves. And they don't do it because they're lonely or eccentric. They do it because they intuitively understand one fundamental truth. Thought without language is simply architecture without form. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a slow, deliberate question to mull over. The next time you're caught mid-sentence, having one of those classic laugh it off, I swear I'm not crazy moments, what if you didn't apologize? What if instead you privately recognized your self-talk for what it truly is? It's evidence of a mind beautifully in motion, a mind that's actively processing, organizing, preparing, regulating, and building. Because at the end of the day, the absolute most important dialogue you will ever have in your entire life is the one that no one else can hear. So the next time you catch yourself mid-thought, speaking quietly to the only person who has been with you through every single second of your life, don't stop. Just listen.